Have you ever seen a clip like this? So there's these two guys and they're playing this game called Taiko no Tatsujin, and then some like allegedly 7-year-old kid comes along and starts showing them off. Alright, let's pause here. Now, this kid is pretty good. Especially considering his age, this is actually really impressive. It's something I would be like, yeah, this is video worthy, right? But then I start going into the comments and I'm seeing stuff like his parents be like, this is for the warm-up to me, or like, man just casually walks by like it's a common occurrence. And I know YouTube comments are like sort of iffy, but we also have like whatever this is, and I don't even want to start going into all this. Anyways, like this other comment says, I'm not trying to diss on this kid, okay? This is impressive, like literally. And this clip is 8 years old, so what is considered difficult now is probably different from what is difficult back then. But the reason I use this clip in particular is because I saw it a long time ago before I started playing rhythm games, and I went, oh my god, this kid is nuts. But I didn't say that because it was a kid playing it. I said that because it just looked impressive in general. But now that I play games and I come back to it, I can't help but notice some things. This kid breaks combo, the patterns are pretty beginner friendly, and the speed isn't that fast. All in all to say, the map itself is not hard. And so if we take away this kid's age from the factors, this isn't really an impressive clip at all. And so that got me and my massive ego thinking, just what do non-rhythm game players consider impressive? It's hard to remember what looks cool once you can actually do it yourself. So as someone who plays these kinds of games, what is considered impressive to someone who doesn't? So, maybe you're like me and you're wondering the same thing. Or maybe you don't play games at all and you're wondering what's considered impressive to someone who does play the games. Regardless of why you're here, this is an experiment on Taiko from the other side. The scientific method is an empirical, iterative process for acquiring knowledge. I don't have enough to be doing that, but I'll do the best I can. Now, the game we will be using for this experiment is Osu Taiko, which mainly uses the same mechanics as the game it is based on, Taiko no Tatsujin. Now, for this experiment, I will be taking 4 different types of people. The first is someone who has essentially no experience with rhythm games at all. It's kind of hard to find someone who's literally never seen one, but the person I'll be choosing will have as minimal experience as possible. The second person is someone who is well versed in rhythm games, but not necessarily the one I'm about to show them. I guess it's kind of like showing a basketball player a hockey clip or something like that. The third person will have lots of experience in another rhythm game with some experience in Taiko. The fourth will just be a Taiko player. In a way, this sort of follows the scientific method. I'm doing the best I can here, okay? I will be showing the same 5 clips to these 4 different people to try and get their opinions. And the changed variable is their experience with this kind of game. It's not the worst, you know? Now, I will admit that during this process, I did alter the experiment to some degree. I do discuss with my judges things about the game, and whenever they ask questions, I kind of answer them. So this isn't the best, but you know, it'll work, okay? So anyways, I also asked these judges for a little reasoning. It's not the best, but given my resources, it's going to have to do. Now, the first 2 people, the inexperienced one and the somewhat experienced one, will receive a brief explanation on how the game works, so at least they understand what's going on. If you already know how Taiko works, you can just skip ahead, and if you aren't aware, I'll be giving you the same explanation I gave my first 2 players. Now, the game is presented as such. As you can see on the screen, there are blue and red circles moving from the right side of the screen to the left. When they reach the circle on the left, I must click a corresponding key to the color. If I fail to do so, or click the wrong color, this combo counter resets. Now, how the keys are assigned are up to the player, but for me, if the circle is red, I press the period key or the slash key, and if it's blue, I press Z or X. Sometimes, as you can see, there will be large circles. If that is the case, I am meant to press both corresponding colors. However, if I press only one key instead of both, there's no penalty other than losing a little score. Finally, there are occasionally things called spinners and sliders. Spinners will appear as big circles with a number at the bottom. When this happens, I must press alternating colors until the number goes down. However, failing to do this also will not reset my combo. Now, sliders are these long yellow lines. We can ignore those because they don't matter. Alright, now, as mentioned, I have chosen 5 different clips for this experiment. These clips each contain something called a map. A map is just, a level or a song you play in this game. Each map has a different set of skills required to play it properly. I will not explain what these are to the judges unless they bring it up first, and I will not explain how difficult any of these are. That is something we will have to discuss after the experiment is over. So, given that, let's move on to the next step. the hypothesis. Now, a hypothesis is a proposed testable explanation for a phenomenon or problem. We will be doing something a little different. As I mentioned, I have 5 maps to show my judges. These maps were very intentionally picked. I have my own rankings of what's easy and hard, but I picked some maps thinking they would look hard but be easy, and I picked some maps that look easy but, would actually be hard. So in this manner, I theoretically should see a pattern arise between the experienced and inexperienced players. It's not going to be perfect, but technically a pattern should show. At least, that's the thought process. Then again, it might not happen at all. That being said, let's go meet our judges.
Damn. I've seen you here in here.
You are not bread. Oh,
No,
that
I'm
is
not
bread.
bread.
Hello.
Bro.
I have never seen your ass in this VC in my life.
This is about right. You are being recorded right now. I have OBS open.
You're a femboy. That's all I have. You're a femboy. You're just like a femboy, bro.
What?
Just like a femboy, bro.
Yo, this guy's just saying things.
I am the schizo. You are femboy.
Yo, shut this guy up. Okay. Oh, there he goes. Okay.
I didn't.
Okay. Thank you for joining me. This is like kind of awkward. I presume you have 0 experience with rhythm games, just to check.
Bro, I've played like 5 notes in like a random ass Roblox game because it was a quest.
That's fine.
That's basically it.
That's fine.
You know, like the Guitar Master minigame?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that
like,
basically.
I mean like a serious rhythm game, yeah, as long as it's like something random. So this is our first judge, Bread. I don't think there's much to say. This guy, as you can tell, doesn't play rhythm games, and that's kind of perfect for what we want. I don't know what else to say. Oh, hello?
Hello?
Oh, hello. Thank you for joining me. Okay. Our second judge is the man 234 Tonk, who I will refer to as Tonk or Judge 2. So Tonk, as qualifications, is ranked 723 globally in Osumania, with a peak rank of 549 and 273 in 4Key Mania. Tonk also has no experience in Taiko, aside from being aware that it exists and having seen it played a few times. Oh, hello. Wow, I don't remember the last time I've talked to you.
Is you connecting? Hello?
Oh, hello? Okay, I can hear you.
No way.
Oh, hello.
Long time no see.
Wow. Thank you for joining me. Okay.
Oh shit, it's starting already.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, okay. Red CXCA is our third judge, and I will refer to him as Red or Judge 3 from now on. Now, Red is ranked 87 globally in Catch the Beat, as well as 6,854 in Taiko. Red is also the winner of Canada Catch Cup, I think in 2024, and is also on the Osu World Cup design team. Fun fact, Red is also the person who got me into Taiko, so I don't think this video would exist without it. Our final judges Dimples are me, who I'll refer to as Dimples or Judge 3, and this is our Taiko player. Now, Dimples has been my teammate in a few tournaments by now, and he's ranked 2,608 globally in Taiko. Now, unfortunately, Dimples wasn't able to join call or anything, but I was able to receive some justifications alongside his rankings for the video, so I will be explaining those myself at the end. So in Taiko, this is what we would call a speed and consistency map. The speed of the map is, like decently fast, but the speed is not necessarily what's challenging about it. There's nothing particularly challenging about it, other than that you ideally shouldn't be missing or anything. There's no factors that make this map particularly tricky, which is why it's called consistency. In the community, we would sometimes call this a no mod 1, but you don't need to worry about that.
If this is what we're starting off with,
Holy. This looks like a low 6-star or medium 6-star.
Really?
Is that true?
Well, I like can't say anything because I feel like
Yeah, I
that'll
guess.
bias a little bit.
Okay,
Actually,
I'll
no,
just
though.
keep
I can't tell you because I shared the replays with one of my other judges. This is
I see,
7.04.
I see.
Okay, so to repeat what you said is the big ones you're supposed to press with both keys.
Yeah. So far, I can tell you, in this one, I have been doing that.
Okay.
To show you what the judges think so far, I will put their names on screen, followed by, from left to right, the most impressive to the least impressive. Here are the rankings so far. So, this map is what we would call a stream map. In short, the main element of this map is the long, unending stream of nodes that comes in from the right to left. For the most part, there are no breaks between them, and this is what gives the map its difficulty.
And I'm assuming you have like different points for how perfectly you hit the.
Yeah, well, there's only good, perfect, and miss.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know if you were playing Taiko when this was farm, because it's
I
a...
saw you played as a CNE.
Oh, yeah, okay. So, like I mentioned earlier, unfortunately, Tonk's recording got corrupted, so I don't have the audio reaction anymore. The main comments he had while watching this map were primarily about stamina, and that has to do with your fingers get tired when tapping for this long in a row. And I guess as a Mania player, that's probably what he was thinking about while watching this. I'm not 100% sure, but that is the comment he left behind while watching.
I think if I didn't know Taiko, this would look more impressive than the first one.
Yeah, okay, but like, since you have played Taiko,
I think this is easier just because it's 200. But
okay. Okay. So I guess you're just saying this one is more impressive so far?
Yeah, I'm gonna just you show me. You're gonna show me like 5 clips, right?
Yeah, so that was 2, and there's only 3 more after this.
Okay, I'm gonna put this at 1 and the other at 2. Then
Okay,
for
so
now.
far.
And I just...
This below the
it's
other
pretty
one?
close. It's a pretty close below, yeah. But it's very close here.
Okay. We're already starting to see a divide between our judges, and with results that seem to fit what we think. Red and Tong, both of our non-Taiko players, have stated this to be the harder of the 2 maps shown so far. Red, on the other hand, has declared this to be the easier one. While Dimples did give live commentary, I will say that he also ranked this the easier of the 2 maps. We'll see how this pattern keeps up as we go. So this is what we would call a tech SV map. The SV stands for slider velocity, don't worry about it. As you'll see soon, the rhythm and timing in which you have to tap can be a little tricky, and the speed of the circles approaching changes as it approaches the circle on the left. The map isn't too fast in speed, and there aren't too many notes in a row though, so that is kind of removed from the difficulty of the map.
What I'm curious about is when you do the timings, do you look at the notes in front of you, or do you only look at the notes that are like almost on the circle?
It's definitely more in like the middle of the screen.
This does look sort of more annoying.
This sounds really hard.
Okay, it was this. Speaking for Tonk here again, The main thing he had going on with this map was its readability, and that more refers to being able to see the colors and react to them properly. You don't necessarily react to each individual circle, you react to each cluster of notes. And in this case, the clusters are a little bit more complicated than the last two maps.
Looks like it's really irritating.
Yeah, you're not wrong in that. Okay, so I'm assuming the first one is still at the bottom.
Yeah, the first one I would say is 3, then the second one I'll put at 2, and this one I'll put at 1.
This one at 1?
Yeah,
Okay.
that one looks annoying as hell.
It's definitely so much more reading and finger control than the other two. Like, if I saw someone play this in FC, like, I would think this guy's a hella good tournament player. So I guess, like, from an OC perspective, this does look like hardest, as in, like, it takes longest to practice. But I feel like if you show this to, like, a group of, like, 10-year-olds, I think the first one will be the most impressive.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so for you, it's this one, and then the first one, and then Prismatix?
Yeah.
Okay. Now that we're here, we come across another interesting divergence. Bread, our non-Taiko player, Red, our semi-Taiko player, and Dimples, our Taiko player, all consider this to be the hardest map, keeping their rankings from before as the same. Tonk, on the other hand, considers this to be not the hardest map, but the second hardest map, with Prismatix being the hardest map, and My Hero being the easiest. So this map also classifies as tech, but in a different sense, and it lacks the SV element. As you'll see, there's not that much changing of speed suddenly, like the last map we just saw, but the timing on the taps becomes a little bit more tricky, and the space between the notes becomes harder to read.
And it just gets worse with every single one.
Well, I'm so bad at judging Taiko's speeds.
Are you like trying to
Can't even
tap
tell
it?
this is- No, I can't even tell if this is faster than the first one.
Oh,
It seems a bit faster
then it's faster than what?
than the last map.
It is definitely faster.
Because the velocity of that one was so fucked up, I can't really tell.
Well, I mean, that was like heavy SV change, so
Yeah.
it's like fair.
This one looks hella hard to act.
So speaking for Tonk one more time, the same things he said as last time, mainly about readability. This does look a little bit easier because the notes aren't moving, but otherwise this is why he placed it one below the previous map.
I would put this over the second one, but below the
Below
one with the
the
moving
last one?
notes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so the second
Is
one you
it-
would say is third, this is second, the other
Yeah,
one's
the
first?
first one is 4th, this one is 2nd, and the one with the moving notes is
Is first.
yeah. This isn't as bad. I mean, I think it's more impressive because you have like the not tempo changes, but like the single note thingies, and then like the many notes. How do you say? Yeah, that.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, that's interesting.
This looks kind of demonic to act, but it feels easier than the last one.
Easier than the last one?
So I
Okay.
think so far the list is,
This is second then?
yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Let me think. Yeah, probably second.
Okay, so this, into this, into this, into this.
I think that it's very close. I mean, my hero, I kind of, yeah, I guess my hero's still second for now.
Third or second?
So my hero is second, and then the King Kong
Oh.
is third.
Oh, so you think it's this, into this, into this, into this?
Yeah, so far.
Okay, interesting. Okay. So I don't think there's anything too interesting here. So far nobody has ranked this map as the most difficult map they've seen so far. But on the other hand, nobody has ranked it the easiest either. So it seems like Bread, Tonk, and Dimples, who the rankings were separate, have all ranked this the second hardest so far. Red, on the other hand, has ranked this the third hardest, but that also means nobody thinks it's the easiest. With this as well, nobody now has the same rankings. This was also true as of, the third map, but even more so now. I'm running out of things to say. Now, I'm going to provide a little more explanation to this map because it doesn't just have to do with skill. On this map, I have applied a modifier called Hidden. Its purpose is to make the notes fade away before they reach my circle on the left. Well, you'll see that. In short, I have to remember which notes were coming and predict when they'll arrive at the circle. Without Hidden, this isn't that hard of a map. The skill set doesn't really mean much. It's mostly the Hidden modifier that gives it its difficulty.
Does the hidden area get bigger?
What?
Does the hidden area get bigger? Or am I trolling?
What do you mean hidden error?
I feel like I can see less now.
No, this is always how it's been.
Interesting.
Kind of. I think it's also dependent somewhat on the approach rate.
Yeah. I know on some maps, Hard Rock Hidden, you see nothing.
Oh yeah. I mean, you only see nothing because the notes are moving so fast, though. It's not necessarily because, like, the hidden area gets bigger. And then I also think it, like, varies depending on if you have V2 on or not. Because HDHR changes if you turn V2 on.
I will already put this at 1.
Okay, so everything else just gets moved down?
Yeah. So you're basically only looking at like the far right,
Yeah.
and then you kind of have to remember or guess.
So speaking for Tonk here one last time, I don't necessarily recall there being anything too interesting about it other than that, the hidden was impressive. He did rank this the most difficult of everything he's seen, again, mostly just because of the hidden modifier that had been applied. Okay, so I guess your rankings are this first, and then as before. So the third map is second, the fourth map is third, the second map is fourth, and the first map is last, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, thank you for your time. I'm going to stop the recording now.
I don't know if it's just because I'm hidden player. This looks like the easiest in the list so far.
Interesting. Interesting.
I don't see any really weird hidden patterns. There's Volcano Burst that might be hard to hit, but overall, yeah, I feel like this is the easiest.
So with this map, we're sort of getting back on track with my initial hypothesis. The previous map sort of messed that idea up, but as we can see here, both Tonk and Bread, the inexperienced players, stated this to be the hardest map, while Red CXC and Dimples, the Taiko players, stated this to be the easiest. There is no, close to easiest, there's no second easiest, they literally both ranked it the easiest, and Tonk and Bread both ranked it the hardest. I think that sort of shows you where this conclusion is going to go, but otherwise, I don't think there's much to say here. Personally, I will agree that this map was definitely the easiest by far, but I also chose this map very specifically as bait. I did have a feeling that there would be a lot of stuff going around with the hidden modifier and whatnot. I'll talk about that later in the conclusion. But for now, let's see the final rankings. I'll start by saying that there were definitely a few unexpected elements or sort of results in this experiment. Then again, it's not really a real experiment if everything goes perfectly according to plan. So, let's look at the final results one more time. Now, let's look at my own rankings. Now, remember, I chose these maps very intentionally. These weren't just random maps I picked. And now, I'll explain why. Let's start with Rainbow Girl, the map I ranked easiest. Now, I expected this to be difficult looking. I thought it would look hard to people who have no clue what's going on. It is, in fact, very easy to play. As long as you know sort of how to read hidden, it becomes a very easy map. Prismatix is the next up in difficulty, and this is, again, a map I expected to look difficult, mainly because of how many notes were coming in at once. But again, this is not a hard map. This is actually, like, arguably just as easy as Rainbow Girl. Now, my hero is a bit more simple looking, but it's also a fast map. And I wasn't entirely sure how people would rank it, because it is on the more difficult end for me, but it's also not the most difficult map, and it looks simple, right? So I expected people to put it in the higher rankings, maybe, but I didn't expect anybody to put it at the top, because again, it looks simple. Stoic Hypothesis is where we start to get into a bit of tricky territory, because it definitely was a hard map, but I personally didn't think it was the most difficult. It is tricky to play, but it's not like the trickiest. And again, this is another map where I wasn't sure where people would rank it. Like, the moving speeds and stuff might be daunting, but I felt like otherwise, due to the slow speed, it might be ranked lower. And VALDeS is like the opposite of Rainbow Girl. It is stupidly hard for me to play. The recording I showed is something like I will probably never replicate. However, due to the slower speeds of the map and such, it likely looks easy, so I expected people to place it at the bottom. So, let's look at my ranking, and now let's compare it to the others. Alright, let's start comparing them and compare the results to my hypothesis. So, as we can see, Red and Dimples were both able to accurately determine that Rainbow Girl was the easiest map, followed by Prismatix. Similarly, I was able to catch Tonk and Bread off guard with Rainbow Girl, with them both having ranked it the hardest. Tonk also fell for the Prismatix bait, with him having ranked it the second hardest. However, here's where things start to differ. While Red and Dimples both ranked Stoic Hypothesis first, they ranked their second swapped. Red thought my hero was harder than VALDeS, while Dimples thought the other way around. This isn't actually the worst thing, because I did expect Red to have some more, like mistakes of sorts than Dimples. But the other thing is that they both ranked Stoic Hypothesis first, whereas as you saw, for me, I thought VALDeS was the hardest. Now again, this isn't the worst thing ever in terms of my hypothesis, because difficulty is subjective. Different Taiko players will find different things hard depending on what they're good at and what they're bad at. So again, this isn't the worst. However, Bread is where things start to go really wrong. Surprisingly, he was able to accurately rank Stoic Hypothesis and VALDeS as the second and third hardest maps, over Prismatix and My Hero. What I wasn't expecting as well was for My Hero to be so far at the bottom. In fact, nobody ranked either VALDeS or Stoic Hypothesis as easy despite my predictions. In fact, opposed to my predictions, there was absolutely nobody who ranked Stoic Hypothesis or VALDeS at the bottom. However, when I asked everyone why, the people who don't really play Taiko, their articulation wasn't that good. And to be fair, I didn't ask them that clearly. Like, I didn't ask for too much detail because I didn't want to bother them. But, they couldn't articulate why it was difficult, as opposed to Dimples, who actually gave me a pretty good explanation. However, even that explanation kind of boils down to the easy maps were easy to play and the hard maps were hard to play. And so his impressiveness doesn't really come from like how things look, like the other people did, but more just, how it feels to actually play them themselves. So, we can draw a few minor conclusions from this. For example, we can see that skill sets that need to be learned, like hidden, are bound to impress those who don't know any better. We also see that the more simple a map looks, the easier they tend to appear to those who don't know any better, regardless of how difficult they might be to the player. Now, truth be told, I want to say that tech maps are difficult for those who know what's going on, and that streams are difficult for those who don't know any better. That was the assumption I had going into this. However, it looks like, that's not entirely true. And ultimately, this is something that needs more data. I thought I'd get better results out of this, but, that's how experiments go. I guess I don't. And I don't really have the resources or connections to expand my sample population. So, maybe leave a comment what you thought looked impressive. Maybe let me know what your thoughts are. I'll see if I can make more videos of this kind. I actually do want to, because I think this is a really interesting concept. Unfortunately, it's just too much effort and I'm lazy. But yeah,